Hi, welcome to this DCP web tutorial. In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create a PayPal button which you can add to your website for payments. So let's go ahead and open up PayPal. I've already logged into my business account. So if you don't have a business account, go and set up a basic business account. It's free to set up. Follow all the instructions and go through the verification process, and then you'll be able to access tools and all tools here. So when I click on all tools, we'll be presented with this page here. And I'm going to scroll down and click on PayPal buttons here. Now when you click on PayPal buttons, if you've already created buttons before, you'll see them listed in here. But right now I don't have any PayPal buttons. So I'm going to click on create a new button here. So the first thing PayPal shows is step 1, and this is all about setting up the actual button itself. So there's choose a button type here. So there's shopping cart and buy now. There's two types of buttons here. Buy now basically is really for like a single product, if you think of it that way. So if you're selling a product on your website and people, you're not really selling multiple products that you can add to a shopping basket, then buy now button is probably a good idea. Normally I use this sort of buy now button. In a good example, if I were to go to my website, let's just go to DCP. So if I go to my website, let's create a button, for example, for logo design, right? So it says here, creative company logo design, starting from only here. Fill out this form below and get your free quote, or click this PayPal button to make payment. I could do something like that, and they could pay straight away. So let's try and create something for this page. Let's go back to PayPal. We'll create a buy now button for now. In later tutorials, I'll create shopping cart buttons, donation, subscription, all of these other examples. I'll show you how to create them. For now, we'll stick with buy now. Now it says item name. So I'm going to type in logo design. That's what we're going to create the button for. Then it says item ID. So my company name is DCP. The service is going to be logo design. And this is going to be the first version of this button. So that's what I normally do, is just do an acronym. That's more for me than the customer, but it's worth having this ID here, because if the customer ever calls you, you can ask them for that ID, then you know exactly what product or what version of that product they purchased. So when you go and create a different buy now button and you remove this one from your website and replace it with a new one, maybe with a different price or a different offer, then you can create version 2, and then you know that they've purchased version 2. So here it's asking for price and currency. So let's put in 75, and here you've got all the different types of currencies. I'm going to leave it on GDP, that's my currency for my country. Now here you've got customized button. So it says add drop down menu with price options. So if I tick that, in here I can, in the example on PayPal, it says like colors and sizes, right? So in my example, I might do something like select option. So I write select option here, then option 1, I might write something like 75, then option 2 I might do 125, and then option 3 I might do 175. So on my website I would need to describe what are these options about, and normally I put a space and a dash there like this. And if I click done, here I can see select option and then option 1, 2 and 3. So if I didn't really describe what option 1, 2 and 3 is, then 75, 125 and 175 will make no sense to the customer. So on my website I might have a section here saying this is what you get for option 1 price, this is what you get for option 2 price, and this is what you get for option 3 price. Then I'll have the PayPal button saying select your option, they select it and then they can pay, right? This can also be used for things like colors. So if I click on example here, it says small, medium and large, right? So the price stays the same, but if it was a t-shirt product, you might just put small, medium and large. The price will always stay the same. But you could also do colors like red, green and blue for different shirt colors, t-shirt colors, for example, right? It says add a drop down menu without prices. So if I tick this, I can add a second drop down menu. And in that drop down menu, just as an example, I might write something like, for example, I might do, let's think, logo resolution. So I will not normally do this, but as an example, I want to try and show you. So I'll do like low res, high res, and then maybe vector. So these are three different types of graphics. There's low res graphics, there's high resolution, and then there's vector based. So if I click done now, then it says logo resolution. Then the user can select the type of resolution. But normally what would happen here is you would have small, medium, and large for a t-shirt, and then you would have red, green, and blue for the color. Because the color may not affect the price, but the size here might not affect the price either, but it might as well. So if there's some extra large t-shirt, it may cost a bit more than the small and medium, for example. So this this option here, I just wanted to show you it, but I'm going to actually untick it because I don't think it's applicable to this particular product. Here it says add a text field. So in here I might tick this, and in here I might write enter your company name, and then click done. So here I'm designing a logo, so it would be nice to know the company name. Then I might add another one and say enter your company slogan. So they might have some sort of strap line. On my one it's like London Web Designers. If we go to my portfolio, let's have a quick look at some other ones. Company logo, then some of them like Taste of Heaven, and you know, there's all these strap lines, subtext that go underneath logos. So I would want to have the company name and then maybe their slogan that goes underneath. And I'll get that from these two text options here. Then it says customize text and appearance. So you can use a smaller button, or you can use a larger button, or you can add or remove the credit cards. I would leave the credit cards there because people recognize those. The language for the button, so let's just do this, and it doesn't say, well, it's all in English, isn't it? So let's do, okay, updated. So this is, let's go back here. So it kind of removed all my drop downs, which is quite annoying. So let's set it back to United Kingdom. PayPal is refreshing. Hopefully it will bring back all them options. No. So that's quite annoying. So let's tick this. We'll set it to, I'll just do this again quickly. So really I shouldn't have even touched that thing, but we'll do this quite quick. 175. Then this was select. So that would be the select option. Then we had we didn't use the price with drop down, but we added text field. Enter your company name, and then we did add another one. Enter your company slogan. So customize in here. When you select as default, when you register with PayPal and you do all of this stuff, it's going to detect which country you're in. It's going to try and set things up for you. So really, I wouldn't even touch this thing here. I would leave it alone. It's United Kingdom English. I assume if you're in like America or any of these other countries, it's going to display this option here correctly. If it isn't, then I would advise you select this first and then go and do your other options. For now, I'm going to leave it exactly as it is. So I want the orange button with the credit card details. You do have an option to select pay now, or buy now. I kind of prefer buy now, or we can do pay now. Either one doesn't matter. Then there's an option here to use your own image. So if you tick this, you need to upload an image to your website. I would advise you upload it to your website, and you should try and use SSL encryption here. So put it on HTTPS and then put the link to where the button is located. Then you can create a custom button here. Maybe I'll come back and look at these button options in more detail, but for now we just do a basic one, right? Because I want to show you it working. Then you need to enter a postage amount. So here we can say it costs $4.95. Really, I wouldn't charge for postage because I'm sending a digital product. So there is no postage. I just email this product to my customer. But imagine if they wanted, there was some like option 3 was a print option, and you get some printed material, or all of them offer some sort of printing option as well. Then I might charge a fee to ship that printed product to the customer. Here, most definitely, you should use My Secure Merchant Account ID. What does that mean? What are these two different options? This one here basically hides your email address when you run through the checkout. So you don't really want to show people your email address if possible. That will basically hide your email address. Here you can click on this option, step 2, and it says Save PayPal button. Protects your PayPal button from fraudulent changes. Automatically add buttons to my Save buttons in PayPal profile. Easily create similar buttons. Edit your button with the PayPal tools. So this is really important. You should save the button because later, if you want to create something like a different product but very similar, you can just replicate this button and create a new one from it, which will save you a lot of time. Tracking inventory, profit and losses. I'll explain this, but I'm not going to use it. If you tick off this option and you had option 1, 2 and 3, which were like red, green and blue t-shirts, then you could put 10 for the green, 10 for the blue and then 10 for the red in terms of stock level. And then you can set up an alert here. So when you can put in like 2, 2 and 2 here. So you've got 10 in stock. When you sell 8 of these and this then becomes 2 because you've got 2 in stock, you've sold 8, then it will send you an alert to your email address saying you've only got 2 left in stock. Then you can go and order more of that product. You can also tick off track profit and loss, and you can put the cost of the product in here, and then PayPal will give you a profit and loss report that you can go and check. And if you were to take this example, option 1, which was green, you had 100 units of this and you sold 99, so you've only got 1 left in stock, then PayPal will show that you sold 99 of these. And then option blue and green, you also had 100 but you only sold 10 of each of these. Then really you'll be in profit, but you would have much less stock of this item and more of this. And you can enter in, I think you can show like the cost for the product in terms of how much it costs you to purchase and how much you're selling it for, the differences, right? I need to read a little bit more up about this. I've never really used it, to be honest. With e-commerce, normally I do all of this stuff within the e-commerce shop itself rather than using PayPal. But you can read more up about this and try and get some more information. You can do it by option or by product item as well. Specific items. These things I'm going to tick off. Can customers buy an item when it is sold out? This is only applicable if you're tracking inventory. So if you were tracking inventory, then you can say a customer can still buy the product, because if you sold out in your green t-shirt but you knew the next day you're going to get a delivery or in 2 days, then you can allow the customer to still buy that product and then you'll ship it to them slightly later, 2 days later than expected or something like this. So let's go to option 3. In option 3, do you want to let your customer change order quantities? So sometimes you may not want a customer to change an order quantity. So for example, if you had maybe something like a product on your website, let's say you're selling something that's limited edition. Let's say you're printing this t-shirt and you've only got 10 of them printed in a limited edition t-shirts. You may only want the customer to be able to order 1 rather than buying all 10 of your limited edition t-shirts, for example, right? So you'll tick yes here. In my case, I want my customer to change the order quantity because they may have 3 businesses that are selling that and they want 3 different logos for them, right? So I allow that. Can your customer add special instructions to your message? So you may as well turn this on, because they may want to write something like deliver the product to between 9 AM and 5 PM so that someone's always in the office, or deliver the product to my neighbor because I'm away on holiday or something like this, right? So it'll allow them to add some special instructions. They may or may not fill that out. Need your customer's postal address? You should tick this off, because unless you're running a full e-commerce shop, you're not really going to capture their address details, so you want that. If you tick this option, take customer to this URL when they cancel checkout. So you can tick off this option, and then on my website I could create a new page called cancelled order and then write some description below. It looks like you've cancelled your order. If you'd like to continue with this purchase, please call us on this phone number. You can get them to call you, and they may have cancelled because they don't have their credit card to hand, and you can send them an invoice, for example, right? So I'm going to leave this off, but you could turn it on and put them to direct them to a specific page on your website if they cancel. This one here you can tick off, and you can show them a specific page So after they finish the PayPal processing, they'll be redirected to a specific page on your website, and you might take them to a thank you page like, thank you for shopping on our website. We'll send you an email shortly with your invoice and also information about your product shipping, something like this. Advanced variables, I'm going to leave this alone. This is slightly beyond building a basic PayPal button. I may come back to this at a later date. So really we've got a button set up now. We can click create button. So here you can see the button code. These are all the options, and here's your enter your name and your PayPal button. So you can say select code, and then you can just right click and copy it, and then we can minimize this. And in this example I've got a folder here, so let's try and test out this button. We'll create a new text file. Normally you do this on your website, but I'm going to just do this in a simple HTML page I'll create right now. So let's edit this with Notepad++. So we'll do HTML. Let's do head. So we need the header tag, right? We don't need this, but if you're going to write code, you might as well do it right. Then we've got body tag. Then inside this body tag, I might write logo design service. Let's put a paragraph in here. And then I might just write something. In fact, I'll do that in a second. Then I'll paste the PayPal code here. This is the PayPal button that we just copied and pasted before. Let's just put, we don't even need to put a line break here. What I'll do quickly though, let's just go to here. I'll go to my website. I'll just copy this text as some sort of example text. I'll put that in here for now. And then we might as well write a title. Let's call this logo design by now. So in theory we should have a working button now. So theory is all great, but let's test it. Let's close this and let's just see what happens when we open this page. So we've got the title here, logo design. Obviously this is not a beautiful looking page by any means. We can zoom in here a little bit. But we have that logo design service. I could have that there, then I could have the description here, and then underneath I would have that PayPal button. Select an option, they select, let's say option 3, enter your company name, DCP Web Designers, and then enter your company slogan, London Web Designer. So I might just do like DCP London Web Designers, something like this, like on my logo, DCP London Web Designers. I'll click buy now. And that takes me straight over to PayPal, and then here I can make that payment. So you see the price. If I click it, it will tell you its logo design 175, and then the posting package is 495. And here you can see the total price that they're going to pay. And then the user would log in, or they can do a guest checkout. If they click guest checkout, then they'll be asked for their card and all their credit card details and their billing address, and then send my bill to a different address, and they'll fill out all their details and they'll create a PayPal account here. So that's it. That's pretty much creating a PayPal button. If you were to go to my save buttons here on PayPal, when you click here, it's actually logged me out. So let me just log back in again, 1 second. Just don't really want to show anyone my password, which wouldn't be wise. So I've logged back in, and here you can see that logo design button, right? With all of its information. Now the nice thing you can do is click here and say create similar button, and when you do that, all the information from logo design button will be created in this new button. So I can just type in something like business card design, DCP, let's do business card -01. Then all of this can pretty much stay the same, but I might just edit this and change the price from this to 75, and then I don't know, to let's say 195, and this might include the cost for designing and printing, for example, right? Then pretty much everything will stay the same. Company name, slogan. Really would need more options here. PayPal's a bit limited that way, but they might put their company name and slogan, then afterwards you're gonna have to send them an email and say, can you give me your first name, your last name, your email address, your telephone number, your trading address, all that sort of stuff you might need, but you'll have to request that via email. Or you can have a sort of form that they fill in. You could, in theory, get them to buy now, pay for it, and then redirect them to a page on your website afterwards with a form that they need to fill in. Please complete the rest of these details so that we can design your business card, right? Make their life a bit easier. Postage and packaging, it might be a bit more expensive because you're shipping a heavier product. And then pretty much everything else you can leave the same exactly. And you just click this create button. Then you've got this new button code. So we'll click this and copy it. Go back to here. Let's go back to this folder. We can right click, open with Notepad. So we've got the logo design here. And then underneath, just as an example, we'll just write something like business card design. This is not really correct in terms of having this content here. You would normally make a separate page for this, right? I would normally put that business card button, where is it? Here. I might put it onto this page where I'm talking about business card design, right? Something here. But we'll save it and we'll go back to this index page I created, and now we've got all the business card options here. And you can see the pricing is 195, on this one is 175. With these two options, you can only purchase one of them at a time. You can't buy them. They're buy now buttons. They're like one-off payments. If you wanted to make these buttons be able to purchase these both at the same time for the customer, then we'll need to go back to PayPal. Let's go back to my save buttons. And as an example, quickly, I would edit this button. So the business card one, I would edit it. And actually it doesn't let me change this buy now. It won't let me change it, so I'll need to actually create a new button. I'll need to go back, and then I'll need to create a similar button. Let's see if it allows you to change it when you create a similar button. So here you'll need to change it to shopping cart now, right? And you'll probably keep everything the same and just save it and maybe change the ID slightly. Then you've got a shopping cart button. When you click that on the website page, it will add it to a shopping cart. I'm going to go through that probably in a separate tutorial. So I'll explain shopping cart buttons separately, because we was going to focus on buy now buttons for now. So there's two examples. Really, I don't need these buttons, so I'm going to delete them. If you're just experimenting with stuff like this, it's never worth really holding on to these buttons. If you're just experimenting and learning, and they're not really just experimental buttons, they're not really proper buttons, delete them afterwards. There's no point in having that code available if you're never going to use it. That's kind of my golden rule. In theory, if we try and click them now, they shouldn't work. We'll see. Yeah, look, PayPal error. This can't be done because this button doesn't exist anymore. Okay, so I hope you find that tutorial useful. That's the end of this how to create a PayPal payment button tutorial. And in future tutorials, we'll look at other options like recurring payments, charity payments, and also shopping cart payments or shopping cart buttons. Okay, I look forward to seeing you in the next DCP web tutorial.